Okay, that was a lot. And so thank you for being patient. Without further ado, I want to welcome our first battle-tested speaker to the stage. Vikki Lampton is a tech recruiting lead at the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. She's a former Army Staff Sergeant who spent 13 years in the Army, deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan, got out, got her bachelor's in psychology. She is also the mom of 3 teenage boys and an 11-year-old girl. Please help me welcome to the stage Vikki Lampton.
How many Army Strong people do we have here? I always like to put a plug in for the Army. I'm here to talk a little bit about my transition story, but I wanted to start off with a quote. And it's one of the Army values, personal courage. Personal courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to put the fear aside and do what's necessary. And that's basically what transitioning is all about, having personal courage. So here's my story. This isn't my first transition, by the way. This is my second. The first time that I got out of the military, I got out after I had my daughter, became a correction officer, couldn't hang, went right back to the military, had a hard time with the transition. And to say that I'm still not transitioning now, even though I've got out since 2013, would be a lie. I still struggle now, every day. I joined the military. It's just a little collage, but I joined the military at 17 years old. I was trying to get away from strict parents and thought, okay, I'll just join the Army to get away from you guys. And it changed my life. I was over 30 when I got out, so if you can imagine, that is who I am. That's what I live and breathe. And every day it's a struggle not to want to go back to the Army. I've had quite a journey. A year before I got out the second time, I had a clear plan. I was going to be a federal police officer. I was going to work for the Capitol Police Department in DC, and I was on my way. I was about a month away from actually getting out of the military, and I had timed it just right. I had my academy date, and I was ready to go. Of course, Murphy's Law, if anything can go wrong, it does, and it did. And there was a lot of budget cuts happening in Congress at the time, so they put our class on hold. Less than a month to go out of the military, kids, family, single mother, divorced. I had to figure out what I was gonna do. And I decided, you know what, I can't wait for them to put me in the academy, I gotta do something. So I got out and moved to Kansas City, and because someone told me that would be a great place to move to. And I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna finish my education. I had been working to get my bachelor's all through my time on active duty, working, trying to hack away classes in Afghanistan, trying to hack away classes in Iraq. And you know, if you're trying to earn your degree in the military, how that goes. It's not a set 4 years, right? We're literally trying to earn it when we can. And that was me. So I moved to Kansas City, and I started going to school. And I realized, hey, this isn't a sustainable income, okay? I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. So not only was I going to school full-time, but I was also working at the bookstore and at the school, and I was working as a bartender at night. So that's what I was doing. I wasn't really happy with that, but I knew that I had to do what I got to do to take care of my family. I earned my degree, and I I was really involved with these lovely folks here at our Student Veterans Association, and you'll hear me talk a lot about community because our veteran community is strong. everywhere. And the cool thing about being in the military is you have family everywhere. So I really, really clung closely to these people. They're all really close friends to me to this day. I was actually the secretary for this association and was really kind of trying to push towards my education there, which I completed and then moved on. So what's next, right? What am I gonna do next? Happened to come across a Craigslist posting for a recruiter position. And I had worked in HR in the military, and I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna pursue this. Started off in the trucking industry. If you guys know anything about trucking, it's very high turnover in that industry. And, but the resilience that the military gave me helped me kind of push through that. I went to my interview and I told the manager, I was like, dude, I'm trying to take your job. So I hope you're gonna get promoted because I'm coming for you. And you know, that's when I realized that working in that position that, you know, I'm a connector. So just kind of caveat for what Melissa said, I am now the gatekeeper of opportunity. When I was once banging on the door of opportunity, just hoping someone would open it for me. I started at the very, very, very bottom of this industry, making no money, getting cursed out by truck drivers every day. That's how I started. But I always had like a love for technology. When I was in the military, we actually introduced tech to my unit. I don't know how much you guys know about the military kind of system, but it's very archaic. And they were really like running like an archaic kind of Marx system, old school library, you know, kind of look at the cards to find everything type of system. And I just happened to have a couple of developers on my team that were also HR, but on the side, they were learning to code, right? And we built a database where you can input a service member's social security number and you could pull up everything about that service member. We built that from scratch. And we implement that at the brigade level. And it was just kind of life-changing. They're still using this system to this day. So that was like my introduction to technology, and that's when I discovered that that's what I love. Fast forward, after kind of a tumultuous couple of years as working as a recruiter in the trucking industry, I decided to move me and my children all the way to San Francisco and take a risk. I had applied and got a position at a really small boutique agency firm, and I decided I was just going to work my way up from there. Mind you, this is 2015. It's 2018 now, okay? I grew a lot. My first experience in the Bay Area in tech was kind of traumatizing. I had a hard time fitting in to the culture, just kind of coming where we come from, and I had a hard time acclimating and kind of navigating that political landscape, and I had absolutely no experience in tech, but somehow I was successful. And it took one recruiter giving me an opportunity within Accenture, which is a huge management consultancy, as a veteran sourcer that kind of paved the way for me to be here today. That was my first kind of exposure to big tech. And I knew from the moment that I started at that company that I belonged in big tech. And they really tried to box me in. They tried to box me into the veteran recruiter. Hey, just source us a bunch of vets so that we can fill our diversity slate. And I was like, I'm bigger than that. I want to be able to open doors for us everywhere. So I remember sitting in a round table with a bunch of managers in a meeting that we had like every 3 months. And they were like, hey, we're looking for a recruiter in our digital and Internet of Things team. And we're looking for this, and we're looking for that, and they need to have this and that. And I raised my hand. I want to interview for that position. I want to be able to open doors for us in other areas. So I interviewed, and I got the position. And I started working as a digital and Internet of Things recruiter within Accenture. And I started to get really involved in our veteran community here in the Bay Area. Everything took off from there when I got to Accenture. My next offer came from Google. And who says no to Google, right? I went to Google and became a recruiter there and grew some more, right? And from there, I ended up at Lyft, building teams there. I was building the compliance team. I built the payments and fraud team. I built the driver operations team. Every door just started to open. And now I'm here at Chan Zuckerberg today. 3 years later, I came here with absolutely no experience in tech. I came here with absolutely, it's humbling to me. I was telling my counterparts earlier, I'm like, sometimes I pinch myself because I can't believe where I'm at today. And so now that I'm here, my main focus is to pave the way for other people like me to get here and to be successful. So I know in my industry, they talk a lot about, in our industry, they talk a lot about ROI. What's the return on investment? Why should I hire veterans? What am I gonna get from them? I mean, there's so many stigmas attached to us, right? So now what I do is evangelize our worth. And I really kind of put the responsibility on the managers to actually read our resumes, right? Actually talk to us. Because I feel like we're a great fit for any organization. So my next slide is about our ROI. And this is our ROI. So any hiring managers out there, I'm definitely speaking to you. When you hire a veteran, you're gonna hire someone that's gonna put the mission first. This is someone that is going to definitely be dedicated to your bottom line. Leadership is ingrained in us. We are trained to be leaders, right? Execution. We're gonna get the job done. No matter what it takes, we're gonna accomplish the mission. Under pressure, we thrive. I can't tell you how many times when I was in the Army, I was dropped into situations that I had no experience dealing with, and I had to just make it happen. We get the job done under pressure. We're resourceful. We're gonna look at all different sides of how to make this happen. We're gonna accomplish the mission at all cost, right? Strong work ethic. If anybody's been deployed in here and remembers those 7-day work weeks, we're gonna get the job done, and we're gonna do what we gotta do, right? Responsibilities taken seriously. We take what we do very serious. I can't remember how many times, like I was given a task in the military, and I took that very seriously. We speak our mind, right? And that's something that is kind of a challenge, right, in the corporate landscape, speaking your mind. But you know what? Diversity of thought is very, very important. We're safety conscious. Anybody remember all the safety briefings we went through? Exactly. We're gonna bring structure and organization to your company. We can take chaos and make it work, right? We're team focused. We work with the battle buddy system from basic training. And so we're very team oriented. We're accountable. We're accountable for our actions. That's very important. Diversity, inclusion, in action. I don't know how many people went to basic, but if you came from like an environment where there was only like one type of person, you go to basic, you're gonna meet everybody. Everybody you're uncomfortable with. Me as an NCO, I'm gonna pair you with someone you're uncomfortable with and make you be best friends. So, that's a big deal. And resiliency. We never give up, which I think is probably the most important thing. And one thing that I'm missing from up here is grit. We have grit. We're gonna bounce back no matter how many times that you knock us down, right? And my story is evidence of that. I've had many doors closed in my face. I've had many people tell me that I wasn't qualified, you know? So now that I'm in a position to actually influence a hiring manager's mind, I challenge them. We're resilient. No matter what you give us, we're going to make something of it. We're gonna make it happen. You want us to learn a new skill? We're gonna learn it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like we're an asset, a hidden asset that a lot of companies are missing. And I guess if I'm speaking to the veterans, I want you to know that your skill set is valuable no matter what background you come from, no matter what MOS you had, you bring value to a company. And as a hiring manager, I challenge you to actually read resumes. Challenge your recruiters to read the resume and actually have a conversation with a veteran at a minimum. That's pretty much what I'm here to say. I want to encourage people that are hiring. I know you guys identified yourself at the beginning of this. Who's a hiring manager here? 1, 2, 3. When you get veteran talent in your pipeline, even if the title doesn't align to what you're hiring with, take time to actually read what they've done and look at the transferable skills there. There is a lot that we bring to any company. Am I good? And I also want to talk a little bit about some of the organizations that helped me get here. So I didn't get here alone. I had a lot of companies and a lot of veteran agencies that supported me on my way. When I moved here from Kansas City, Swords to Plowshare, I can't say enough about what they did for me. They paid my down payment, my first and last month's rent to move here. Let me tell you. And when I was here and I had to relocate again, they covered my cost again when I was looking for a job. Lean on these veteran organizations, lean on your veterans, lean on the community. We're really tight. Make sure you meet as many people as possible within the veteran community. We are everywhere, and we're gonna keep infiltrating these big tech companies to make sure that we clear the pathway for you to be successful.